Hey guys, so today I am so excited to be doing this interview. It is with Pantera Capital. If you have not heard of Pantera Capital, well, they're just one of the most respected major crypto investment funds in the world. Major guys. So they've invested in dozens and dozens of things, and I really don't want to be going through that entire list because there's so many, but they've invested in Back, Circle, OX Protocol, Ripple, Polychain. A lot of stuff, guys, but that's not what the interview is about. Today we're going to be talking with Paul Veradittakit. Now, Paul is an investment guru, and he's also a partner at Pantera Capital. And, geez, guys, I think we're going to learn a lot today. So let's just jump right into it. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So I have a lot of questions for you. I hope you're ready for these.
I can't wait.
First of all, just want to talk about why you decided to invest in cryptocurrency. There are so many different assets in the world that one can invest in. What drew you to crypto?
Yeah, I think I would say, in my life, I've always been a little bit more of a risk taker. And, since graduating from Cal, which you can see the hat right here, I started off my career doing economic consulting. And then I started doing startup work. I did everything from business development and growth to even helping startups fundraise. I finally joined the VC fund. It was sort of opportunistic. There was a job posting on LinkedIn. I applied for it. It was a fund focused purely on the mobile app space. And that's what I did with the mobile space, invest into a company called App Annie. It got to $1 billion valuation, over $1 billion probably now. And, while I was an investor, I was talking to some of my investor friends, and some of them were getting into Bitcoin. And the more that I read about it, the more that I thought, wow, the fact that it's decentralized, the fact that no one controls it, the fact that you can move value peer-to-peer by cutting out the middleman, I thought could be extremely disruptive, not only for finance, but a bunch of other industries. Coincidentally, at the time, Coinbase was starting up. Mark Andreessen just wrote his New York Times piece, and I thought, there's something here. There's some momentum. There's companies getting started. There's people already using it in certain use cases, and I think there's a potential for this to really get huge. And so I was like, well, I'm fairly young in my career. I think this is a risk worth taking if I can find the right fit, and give it 2 years. If it doesn't go anywhere, then I'll go back to traditional venture investing. But if this really takes off, this could be, again, new money, new store of value. It can change the way that individuals and corporations do things. So the upside is so large that it was just like a no-brainer for me at the time to really just kind of take that risk and join an existing brand and see what happens.
So if we could just kind of jump to the market and some numbers. So over the past years, Bitcoin, I keep saying this over and over in some interviews, and it's still a bit of disbelief for me, but the price fell by about 73%. Some altcoins lost about 90% and more. How did the market crash affect Pantera Capital?
Yeah, for our VC fund, we're investing in equity. Now, some of the equity includes tokens, but it's still a very small percentage. Like Zcash was a deal for us that we invested into equity and also got tokens from it. Obviously, the tokens have received a ton of value and also lost value during this time. But for the most part, actually our VC fund has increased in value because our companies continue to execute and raise subsequent rounds. The funds that took the largest hit would be the ICO fund and the digital asset fund, because whatever is on the secondary markets, lost quite a bit of value. I think for us on the ICO side, we're not, we still have most of the funds sort of illiquid, like not trading on exchanges yet. So, that's prevented maybe even more of a loss. But, a lot of the tokens that we still have positions in and tokens that are still illiquid and haven't launched to the market, we are very, very bullish on. So, I think in the short to medium, or in the medium to long term, those tokens and that fund will do well. Same with the digital asset fund. Most of our investing is discretionary, and we are choosing projects based off of teams and themes that we think will be successful in the short to medium term. And we also have part of the fund that's doing sort of alternative strategies, whether it's arbitrage, shorting, or any sort of other alpha strategies that we're testing out. So that fund, because everything is liquid in that fund, has taken more of a hit. but we think that we know the projects very well. We have a strong thesis on what's going to gain value in the long term, and we're confident in that fund too.
And with Pantera Capital, I feel like you guys are constantly making some pretty loud headlines. For example, recently Pantera, along with some companies, invested in 4.5 mil in Stack project.
Yeah, exactly.
And you entered the board of directors for the startup. Can you tell us a bit about the project or what your role is in it?
Yeah, so in general right now with this third fund that we're raising $175 million for, it's going to be mostly investing into seed and Series A and leading those rounds. So about 75-80% of the investments so far have been in a lead position where you take a board role there. And with this particular company, staking, it actually stemmed from us trying to solve our own problem. We're investors in LivePeer, we're investors in Filecoin, we're investors in Cosmos, and those are all token projects where you can participate and help secure the network by staking, by delegating your tokens, and by doing so and helping to helping the network run, you can actually make returns on the tokens that you stake at anywhere from 7% to even over 100% annualized returns. So we took a look at the space. We determined that Staked had the best team, the best track record, the best architecture, and the best vision going forward. So we made a lead position to invest in those guys, knowing that like every fund, every exchange, wallet, asset manager is going to want to generate returns from staking, and these guys are going to be the best way for people to do so in a very user-friendly way. So by joining the board of directors, I'm going to be helpful in terms of trying to generate as much sort of clients as possible for them, helping them find the right partnerships, helping guide them through like all the different things that may be happening in the market and ways for them to actually navigate it.
Well, I guess a long list of investments, but you guys don't really disclose a lot of general data. I was wondering, can you tell me about how much you have invested in the crypto business and as a whole, and what your future plans are with it?
Yeah, so I mean, we're the same as any other venture firm in terms of disclosing. I think we're actually more transparent than most of the firms out there. We actually do publish some of our performance numbers of the hedge fund and of the VC fund, which no one actually ends up disclosing. I mean, in terms of individual investments, we let them handle what kind of PR they want and what they want to disclose there. In general, I mean, we launched a $13 million VC fund plus a $25 million, plus now this is going to be $175. I mean, we're going to be over $200 million of AUM going into VC. Our ICO fund is in the hundreds of millions. Our digital asset fund is sub 100, so that's some data right there. In terms of what we're going to be doing in the future, I mean, we're going to be continuing to maintain and launch investment products that will give investors different types of exposure into the cryptocurrency and blockchain space. So it's really an a la carte menu of your choice of how you want to get exposed to crypto based off of your liquidity desires and your risk desires. And we hope to cater to all sorts of accredited investors, anywhere from entrepreneurs that are investing as low as 100K all the way up to institutions investing $50 to $100 million.
So I'd like to shift the conversation a bit to institutional investing, something that I've realized is kind of a polarizing thing, depending on where you lie on that spectrum. Some people are very pessimistic about it, and some people, well, I'm just going to ask you the question. So recently, Bloomberg published something about large banks like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and how they're ready to provide all these crypto services, but they're saying that there's no customers for it, and there's not really a lot of demand. I believe Goldman Sachs said throughout the entire year last year, they only signed 20 clients.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing, but I mean, what do you think about that? Is there really not really that kind of demand for institutional investing in crypto products?
I think it's not. I mean, I think there's interest, but demand probably not huge yet. And I think the reason is, for institutions, there has to be a lot of boxes that they have to check off before, getting into this space. Everything from regulations, which, some of that is still a bit unclear around tokens. And even on the tokens that are sort of deemed not securities, Bitcoin and Ethereum, then it's like, okay, well, who's a qualified custodian? Are these entities checking all of the boxes in terms of like everything that we need in terms of security and licensing and whatnot? So just growth of the space in general, liquidity, stuff like that. So all of these things have to be met, and we're investing in companies that are providing some of that infrastructure for institutions to get involved. Bakkt is launching a futures contract for physically Bitcoin settlement to, other providers of institutional trading tools, prime brokerages, things like that are really going to help them.
Yeah, and I feel like one of the big reasons the crypto community is so interested in the first place is because a lot of people are tied to the idea that if they do come in, the market's going to revive. And some people I've talked to said that's not really going to have any effect on it. Do you have a feeling one way or the other about that?
I think institutional investment into this space will definitely help with, just pricing in general, just because it's a function of supply and demand. But I think the big thing, even bigger than that, is really just use cases and usage. I think use cases where blockchain and cryptocurrencies are going to be used is what's going to propel the ecosystem to something more than just speculation.
Well, I guess, Paul, the last question I have for you is about the crypto industry as a whole. Last year, well, not so positive for the crypto industry. I could ask you why this happened, but there's a million and one reasons for that. But what do you, unless you have some extra insight that you can maybe share with us, but what do you expect of this year? Maybe you could even give us a prediction for end of year Bitcoin? I don't know. Nobody wants to do that, but...
Yeah, I think this is a great year to be either investing or joining a cryptocurrency startup. On the investing side, all the scams and all the noise, all the guys that are in it for the money are mostly gone now. And now it's long-term believers and long-term builders. As an investor, now is the time to kind of get in and be able to invest in companies that are doing it for the right reason, that are working hard and focused and building the right infrastructure needed for this space, and be able to do that in a very economical way, because the market's down. There's a lot of leverage for investors right now. Valuations are a bit more attractive, and for the entrepreneurs themselves or people looking to get into this space, you have a higher likelihood of joining a company that is at least focused on building something to really push forward this ecosystem, push forward the use case that they're looking for. And if you can join a company that has some venture funding and gives yourself a little bit of runway, you have the opportunity to kind of see the ecosystem at a low and be able to help ride it all the way up as it goes along. So, I think that this is a great time for anybody to be getting in, and we're seeing a lot of the top talent from all the top companies in Silicon Valley, Square, Uber, Facebook, all starting companies within the space. So it's really exciting. I mean, this is kind of like, the best time to be getting in. And I think, if all goes well, I mean, price is going to get reflected, maybe toward the end of this year, maybe it'll take a little bit longer. But, in terms of Bitcoin, I mean, I think that, Bitcoin, with Lightning Network and some of the stuff that's happening on the Bitcoin scalability side, some of the transactions that may go through, obviously Bitcoin still has a great store of value use case. And so, markets are still pretty correlated, where if we start seeing some usage and some institutions coming in, Bitcoin price will be reflected in that.
Yeah. Paul, thank you so much. That was really interesting. But I have so many more questions for you. I really hope we get to do this again. I just don't want this to be like a 3-hour long interview. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we could discuss some more things in the future. But really awesome. Appreciate your time.
No, it was a lot of fun. I'd love to do this again, and thank you so much.
Awesome.
Wow. I don't know about you guys, but I feel enlightened. Seriously though, I really hope you enjoyed that interview. It's really interesting to see how the system works from the inside out, and I hope we can get another chance to interview Paul again. In the meantime, please share this with all your friends and give us a thumbs up, give us a like, leave a comment down below, and thank you for watching Nakamoto Jedi.